What's going on, everybody? It's Amster X back with another manga chapter review. Today we have Choujinx. Today's chapter 75. I know at the time of recording this, 75.2 came out, but the way I started this channel, was kind of impromptu. So we're kind of getting the things rolling. We'll get caught up on all the chapters that I want to drop now before the new chapters come out. So 75.2 chapter review will be out this weekend. I would say probably like Saturday. And then we'll be caught up in hopefully everything I say in this video resonates with what's happening next. So I really want to get into this chapter and just talk about Azuma. I think this chapter focused on Azuma so much and the theories that everyone has, and I kind of want to talk about them and see what you guys think. We can start a dialogue moving, and hopefully I didn't even read 75.2 because I wanted to die on whatever hill I'm saying in this chapter to see if I'm right. So let's just find out. So in the beginning of this chapter, in the beginning there was the Black Sea. So this is the herald to the Tower of Mourning. And as we learn that this is Ellie's first prophecy. But the reason why this is so important is this is her first prophecy, and it's the Black Sea. And as we can go, we're going to move through this kind of quickly. So as we can just see that this is Ellie's first prophecy, and this whole chapter is about Azuma, Ellie, Tokyo. It's this looming, and that's what Ishida is so good at, is really telling a story without saying too much, using too many panels. You're supposed to infer a lot, and I hope a lot of people are doing that when they're reading. And we're gonna break this all down this chapter. I hope you got some, something to drink while you watch, because we are gonna go into this in depth. So we're kind of moving through these first couple panels kind of quickly because the prophecy, we're not going to focus too much on the prophecy. And the reason why is because we're going to look at Sandek, or Sandik, however you say it, and we're going to look at Azuma, and we're going to look at kind of the suspicion looming, and it's a lot of callbacks to Motto and how people may not necessarily believe in these prophecies anymore. So right away, we see Azuma, or in the beginning of this chapter, Tokyo is getting moved to go to Moge. And they're like, wait, what? Don't even joke like that, right? Like, if he goes, we're screwed, right? Like, don't, like, the panel before that is, don't joke around like that. Don't mess with us. Tokyo can't leave. Are you serious? And they're like, why there, right? Because that's like the most dangerous part. So then we fast forward and we see that all the leaders of each district are in a meeting, right? So it says, since the war started, we haven't heard a word from Moge, so we assume everybody is dead, right? And he's like, why are we even sending Tokyo there? And later he says, I didn't have it in that panel, but he says, are we sure that we can trust what she's saying? The two people before me died, right? So he says, so we got Sandek says, the Oracle says that, Tokyo needs to take his group because the prophecy we see has him going there, right? So Moge is related to the Black Sea in some way. And I think I have it here. He says, well, the Black Sea can be interpreted as the total defeat of Nanasu. Like, we could be wiped out. So why would we go there to start this prophecy? And Sandek's like, all of us in Nanasu must follow the prophecy, right? And by the way, Arthur looks he looks so dope right now. Like, you see him with the little silver hair. Yeah, he looks badass, honestly. So he's like, so the whole point of this starting is that, like, we have this oracle, we have people who are doubting, like, we have see one thing you got to understand in the words of writing. Why would Arthur say all of us in Nanasu must follow the prophecies? What is he saying? Are you saying some people aren't? So you got to look at that. Like, he's saying that some people aren't following it. Some people don't believe in the prophecy, right? So we're already seeing how these seeds of doubt have been sowed. And look, the next chapter goes into the first person whose seeds of doubt are sowed is Azuma. He goes, no one told me about this. He's on that meeting. He's pissed. No one told me about this. This is why it's so important. He's the vice director now, and no one told him about this. So what does that mean? If you're the vice director and you're not being told something, then what are you really? See that's why Ishida is so good here. He said, we don't even know what the others will find when they get there. How could they send them to this place? This isn't what I had assumed or the condition they told me about. Ellie had a prophecy, right? So we keep moving. And then Sandek runs into, so Azuma's on his way to see Ellie. And Sandek runs into him and says, Ellie saw a scene of the best person being selected. It's you that needs to pick the person. So again, we're seeing this. Azuma didn't know that that's why he was selected champ, right? So he's not being told what's happening around him, and he's involved. He's the vice director, but he's out of the loop. You see where I'm going with this? So we're gonna get into, the whole queen theory later. So Ellie, he said, did Ellie tell Sandek all these details of her prophecy? Or Tokyo? And why does he say it like that? Or Tokyo? She must have told him. Now you could say he got over Tokyo, the jealousy that he had of him. But if anything, this moment here shows the jealousy might be back. Because we go into the next panel, and this is so important. We see Icy, right? And he's guarding Ellie. He watches over because he views Ellie as, as Zora, and, really protects her and cares for her now. And he chose a side. He's like, I'm going to be on your side now. But the reason why this is such a good panel, and just even a quick reference of this character, is he says, Miss Ellie, she's it's not possible. She must dedicate her focus to the next prophecy, right? And Azuma's like, yo, I am the vice director. Are you saying that Ellie would rather have one of Sora's? Wait, let me go back. He said, are Ellie's no, keep going. I'm sorry. He said Ellie would rather have one of Sora's minions by her side than her own ex-partner? So what is this setting you up? He's the vice director. He can't see Ellie when he wants to. He doesn't know what's going on in these prophecies. He's kind of jealous of Tokyo. It's getting set up for him to feel like he has no choice but to leave. So we all know that he's a queen vessel, right? But Ishida's in a point where he can't just have Azuma just go over of, just to be evil. Like, that doesn't fit his character. His character is this over need to prove himself, to be fit in, to prove that he's wanted. So Ishida is showing us in these chapters how he's not really needed. Hey, look, we're just gonna give you this vice director title just so you can feel good, but you don't even know what's going on. You don't know any of the prophecies, right? You don't know what's going on. And then to go into the prophecy, and because I didn't put that panel here because I can't have every panel here. You still got to read the manga, and I don't want to get copyright strike. But a big issue with this is the prophecy. How does Ellie even get a prophecy? What does she say? What does he do, or she do? She has to view the clouds for 3 days. It's a cloud viewing process. She has to stare at the clouds for 3 days. What does it mean when we say your head's in the clouds, right? Or what does it say is that my vision is cloudy? So what is Ishida saying by the only way for her to get a vision is for her to stare at the clouds, which means that she may not even believe in her own prophecies and her own visions. It's a play on her whole character, right? Batista even says, like, what will you do when you're faced with these decisions? Well, now she's staring at the clouds because she doesn't know. It's the connection is insane right there. Like, how deep that is. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's just trying to figure it out her best because she doesn't believe in it ultimately, right? Remember, she doesn't believe in it. So she's staring at the cloud because it's hazy, right? She doesn't believe in it, but she has to because she has the power. But she doesn't know if she can really stand on it, right? So let's move back. So so obviously we know this, right? Tokyo's absence will pull a fatal blow, right? In other words, we'll fight against Ubrega. What happens in Higo, right? We know this, right? Basically, they're saying everything will fall. One move, if Tokyo leaves and the defenses find out, they will fall. And you could say that maybe they didn't want to tell him because maybe they think Azuma might tell the other side, or maybe because he's Queen's vessel. I don't remember Ivanka, the salt lady. Maybe she can just subconsciously read his mind and already know the next move. Maybe they know that. I'm just spitting some theory out. Like they know their next moves, right? And it's not a coincidence that. Also, let's just go into this real quick. Tokyo's existence, and it's an interesting picture here that when Azuma's thinking of Tokyo, look at the picture again. It's more jealousy. It's more envy towards Tokyo here. So it's 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 this dichotomy here of how Ishida is portraying Azuma as in this chapter. For face value, you could take it as he's really caring about Azuma as Tokyo. He's really caring about Ellie and not being able to talk. But also, is it really he's just trying to fill his own need? He's not doing anything. He really he's not useful. So this chapter, we're kind of really seeing how insecure he is, right? So let's keep it moving. Um, it says, I think of the latest one is going to cause problems. If you just had given us advance notice that Tokyo wouldn't be more, we could be prepared, right? So he's just like, but all of it is saying that like he wish he could be a part of it, right? But then look at Sandek. Look at how he's looking at him. Sandek's looking at him like, we don't trust you, dude. We don't trust you. Look at his eyes here. There is an order to these things that only the Oracle herself can know. Look at his eyes. We keepers must accept that and carefully scrutinize it as we support her. Let's look at here. Sandek is looking at him in his eyes. Why are we looking at ants? Is that how Azuma is feeling? He's feeling small. He's feeling unimportant. He's feeling like an ant. These panels are not just wasted space. These authors know what they're doing, right? So we have these ant panels for no reason. That's where we can assume Azuma is looking down while Sandek is looking at him. Because he's saying there's an order to these things. You can't just make your own decisions, right? We have to all be a part of this. He's basically saying, are you not a follower? Are you not being loyal right now? So, and then he says, and then it's funny that we always get this picture of the Kagomura squad, right? Because we already think that they're, under Ichiro, they're up to some sneaky things, right? So, and it's not a coincidence, right? Let's go right into it. Ichiro. It's the first time that they have gotten a win. We don't think it says the squad has given back Guelta's attempts invasions 8 times, and this was the first time they won. So let's just think about that. They finally get a win, and then Tokyo leaves? Come on. Sato's up to something. And a theory that me and my friend were talking about is that Sato had assassination of Mato, was giving Mato, because he has the mind control ability, was giving Mato these dreams. He's controlling this whole outcome up until this point. Maybe he's trying to create some different future, right? So I think he is, listen, he could or could not be, we're going to find out with 75.2, but he's behind a lot of this. He's the mastermind orchestrating everything up until a certain point because he's trying to create a different prediction to Wei. I think he's putting everything into place. Like, you're telling me he lost purposely 8 times and then he won once? That means he shows you he could, So that was the one true victory Nanasu had since the war started, as long as he said, look, even his eyes are like, Sato finally gets a win now and then Tokyo goes? It doesn't make sense, right? Sato's been up to something for the longest. We know this, but we can't put but so real quick, little panel. That was the one true victory Nanasu had since the war started. Look at Sandek's face there, right? Now just compare his face when he looked at Azuma. It was very serious, dark. But then when he talks about Yamato, right, winning, right? Look, he looks innocent again. Because truly he is on the side. Like, he's like, I want to win. I think he knows he's just as affected as anybody else about prophecy. His own brother. He had to kill his own brother. So he doesn't want to do this. It's more out of fear. That's why he's looking at Azuma like that. Like, you can't, he doesn't want to lose anyone again. Right? So that's why he's looking innocent here. Like, that's even such a good touch. It's amazing what he can do. Then lastly, we get into, in her second prophecy of the mode dispatch, she saw the one who dreamed of the tower and the chosen one guided by a vulture carrying a celestial blade. Now, I don't know how we feel about this addition of Shant, and I can't even remember the other guy's name, the musician guy. But so Tokyo is going to be the guide. It's a, where are we going with this prophecy? Because the reason why I think the prophecy is, in my opinion, is some BS is because we just seen what happens with all the previous prophecies, right? They just lead to something. I think these are self-serving prophecies, I feel like these are all in a sense to keep the Choujin alive. Like I feel like there's some deeper, it's like almost some X-Men type of, remember Days of Future Past, and like there's no more mutants and they're getting hunted down. So we need to create something to live, and I think these prophecies are in some way doing that. Like to keep this war going, to create more Chojins, to create something that keeps them alive, because I think ultimately without this, Chojins may fall. But overall, I don't know how we feel about these prophecies. I don't really care. Like this chapter was kind of like honestly a downgrade into the last, because I'm like, we finally see Tokyo. I was so excited to see Tokyo, and then we go into this prophecy nonsense, and it's like we've seen the prophecy stories. They lead to something, because they it's like, of course it's like almost self-fulfilling prophecies. They're damned if they do, they damned if they don't. And it's like, damn, we're getting a new one. But I like that the aspect of when we're getting introduced to it, we're seeing a lot of doubt around it, right? Nobody really believes it. Ellie doesn't even believe it. But Tokyo, and I think if we could make a call, I wish I started this channel before with 74. Well, Tokyo's attitude in that chapter was basically like, hey, it is what it is. We're going to do this thing. It is what it is. I'm just going to go to the front line. And that's it. So that's pretty much this chapter review. I think I'm going to do 75.2. I can't really talk too much. This is already 16 minutes, but I just wanted to kind of just get my thoughts out real quick. What do you guys think of that chapter? I'll review 75.2. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Amster out.